Okay, I'm going to be writing and talking about the current state of idolatry in the world, because I'm sick of this technology. I hate it so much. In the spirit, you can ignore it a bit, but in the flesh, it defiles me. So I'm going to be addressing it. First off, what is an idol? Idolatry and idols are the same and they're different. The commandment against idolatry is we shall have nothing, we make no images or shapes, no objects, we shall not bow down to them or serve them, for God is a jealous God. In the Old Testament, so idolatry. Idols are little things which people would carry around. They'd bow down and worship them. Oh, I don't want to talk to nobody, man. I don't want to talk to no one. So, I'm going to be talking about idolatry. What are idols biblically? Biblically, anything idol is anything that we as men make that stands between us and the Father. So, it could be your car. Many people say, oh, you can make anything an idol, and it's true. Your car. You come home from work, it's all you care about. You just put all your life into your car. And you just wash it, clean it, make it look perfect. Your car can definitely be an idol. It's taking your attention away from God. It's bringing your heart to an object of man's own making. It's taking the love away from God. What is ancient idolatry? Idols in the Old Testament. They were little figures that had set themselves up in temples, places of worship. They had many rituals placed around them and all kinds of things. People bow down to them, treat them as if they were a living thing. You could have this in someone's temple or in their house or on the shelf, wherever. People would. One of the things God condemns is people consulting their idol, bowing down and saying to it, deliver me. And yeah, I'm here to say that there's about 1,000 parallels we could draw between the Old Testament idols that we see in their societies, which brought judgment upon them, and the idols we see in today's society, which is technology. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this and address it a bit because I'm very, very much against these technologies. And yeah, I just really want to talk about it because I think we're very close to Judgment Day. And why? Because we have gone back to idols. It breaks my heart so much to talk about this because I absolutely hate these things. But I think everyone is struggling with them right now, so I'm just going to talk about it. What do people do with their Old Testament idols? They'd bow down to it, they would consult it, treat it as if it were alive. They would worship it. What else would they do? They would offer sacrifices to it, that's right. So they'd offer meat and food sacrifices. But then when it got really bad, their idolatry would inevitably lead them into immorality. Because idolatry, essentially, when you put an idol into someone's life, or they take up an idol for themselves, they cut off their vision of God and the truth, and inevitably they make themselves to be God and start following their own ways. And as soon as a man starts following his own ways, he's led into immorality of all kinds, and one of the biggest ones is sexual immorality. The big one is sexual immorality, and when it gets significantly bad, these are the sort of like the two hand in hands that idolatry comes with, is sexual immorality and child sacrifice. These are like the really, wow, the doozies. And there's maybe a few more that I've forgotten. But I'd just like to look at some of the parallels. We think that we're so far removed from that society that we don't really think that this can happen again. We see all the time Israel falling back into idolatry and idolatry and idolatry, and we think, how have they done it again? But we ourselves, we don't want to think that we've got idols. We don't want to think that we've done what they've done, but we have. We see people walking down the street with idols in their hands, and they're not even watching where they're going. I've even seen people with strollers with their own child in it. One hand pushing the stroller, the other hand with the phone in it. We've got them literally walking around bent over, staring at their device. They're so involved in their phone that they're almost sucked into a different reality. They're not in the reality that we're walking around in, that's for certain. They're walking in a social media fairyland of non-tangibles. And what else do they do? Well, they consult it. They've got a really big problem on their hand, or say they need to get around. They don't know where they're going. They check the maps. Again, I check the maps. I'm so terrible with geography, I couldn't even make my way home. But that doesn't mean that it's any good. Like I'm just trying to point these things out. but consulting it, what is probably the most common phrase you hear now? I'll Google it, or I'll look it up. Go look it up, see what this says. I see a lot of people, myself included, and this is something I'm trying to fight, is that tendency, that temptation to just look it up, check it out, Google it, consult this device, consult this square object that people walk around bowing down to, that they carry around in their pockets. Consult that, it's got all the answers. It may not do it, it may do it a disservice to simplify the language, but am I saying untruth? If I'm saying untruth, you have reason to critique what I'm saying. But if I'm still saying truth, does it matter what format or way in which I'm saying it? That people bow down to their phones, that people consult their phones for knowledge, to make one wise, to know things. When they get into trouble, they whip out their phone and they consult it. They check, what am I going to do? Am I going to call an Uber? Oh, the Uber delivered me. Trusty phone got me out of this bad circumstance. What else do? We treat it as sentient. In one sense, this thing has been given a breath, or such you could say. It's you plug it in or else it dies. Once it's got full battery, it can last all day. When it's running low on battery, it gets tired, you got to plug it in to charge it up. You press it and the screen comes to life, and you can move around and scroll through the interface. It's almost like it is not sentient. Sentient AI is coming, but this has a knockoff breath to it, meaning the breath is in the scriptures. It's not dead. It's got breath to it, wind, breeze. What else do people do? Well, they worship it. People, so often the Western society is the worst of this. We come home from a long day's work and we chuck on the telly and we're just all, sat on the couch watching what's going on. Well, it just is there up on this little plateau in the cupboard. And we're all sort of down here on the couch looking up to it, and it's just teaching us, saying what we want to see. We finish the day, we go down, we sit before it and just look up at it, watch it, listen to it, consult it. It entertains us, it's fun, it makes us feel good. This technology is not just with TV, this worship, it's also with phones. What else do we have? Sacrifices to food. I've not seen a real similarity yet. You could probably draw one with sacrifices to food. But the offering sacrifices to food one, I'm not sure. It's very likely. But sexual immorality and child sacrifice. Well, I believe these are both also fulfilled in the very largely growing porn industry. There's immorality rampant, not only in the porn industry, but every single social media app. It seems to infiltrate its way into every little corner of the internet, wherever you can go, unless there's specific policies put in place later to prevent this. Pornography will just inevitably work its way into every crevice of the internet. And child sacrifice. This one grieves me the most because it really just destroys the family, and if it is indeed a parallel to the Old Testament idols, then it's just as bad, if not worse, than Baal. giving your child up to Moloch, which is one of the most corrupt things a person can do? Or is it? I've seen countless times, which is quite sad, people at the dinner table, and they're just enjoying a nice meal, and then the kid in the little cry chair, little high chair, whatever, starts crying, and so they just give him the iPhone, and he whips up some YouTube or whatever, and the kid's just enthralled by this technology, starts watching YouTube, and then dinner can resume while that pestersome child can, we can silence him, we can stop him from talking. It's so frustrating when children exist and make noise in our space. I see countless different types of child sacrifice in regards to phones. Another one is when you see babies in strollers and mum's pushing the cart or dad's pushing the thing, whatever, and baby's just enjoying the walk, parents just on their phone. They're just too enthralled with the social media or whatever, that going out for a walk in the park, going out to check the scenery, going out to see what's what with your child turns into just a bit of free time to go on the phone again. I see that as bad, but the worst is, I believe, this one where you're out and about and you want the baby to just, shut up, like, come on. And so you just throw out technology. And then from such a young age, I really shouldn't have to say, if studies are coming out left, right, and center in this current day and age that we're in about how harmful these technologies are for people to be just consuming all day, and how teenagers, are suffering and struggling with it. If studies and whatnot are coming out nowadays about how bad phones are for people's mental health, well-being, socials, learning, attention span, memory, sleep patterns, social habits, food consumption, body dysmorphia, if all these things are just so bad, why are we just giving our kids over to it? That's got to be so destructive. I think I'm the last generation to where people grew up with it. Like, there was some in my generation that grew up with technology just in their lives every day, some that didn't. And I know the people that did grow up with it, and it occupies a large area of their life. I see this as, I don't know how to explain it, but I see that as an early age, giving your child over to this foreign thing. And yeah, I guess a parallel I would try and draw is I don't know, if you took any of the Old Testament passages of what God said about idols and such, and you replaced the mental image of that thing with this thing, the old idol with the new idol, would it fit? And now following that, would all those prophecies not only fit, but would it make a difference now that this thing actually you plug it in and it does its own thing, and it connects to a database where all the people in the world, are just connected. Where it just sort of connects the whole world. You're just, loving the world. You're plugged in. How do I say? Well, it connects to the world, and it connects also to the internet, which is non-tangible. The internet, as far as we would call it, is seeming to mimic all-knowing. It's seeming to mimic God in that it is non-tangible. God is spirit. The internet is non-tangible, unseen, it's every present, whatever. With all cameras and such. And it's tracking people. It's always making sure it knows where people are. Day to day, their lives are known. Where they're at, their location services are on. It's seeming to me like this thing is mimicking God so much. And yeah, the really scary thing is that we're about to start trying to plug ourselves into it as well. In the next few generations, next few years, people are going to be getting this in their skin. It's the unholy trinity.